Welcome back to The Inspired Entrepreneur with Heather Hope. Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Monday to you. This is Heather Hope with the Inspired Entrepreneur podcast. So, happy Monday. How was your Valentine's Day? Let me know. Let me know how it was. If you took my advice from Saturday or something like that. I don't know yet because I'm recording this on Friday. So I'll let you know tomorrow. Tomorrow's podcast. I'll let you know how the weekend went. So, okay. What was I going to say? Oh, I wanted to remind you, because every time I do this, somebody shows up. Stop over to my YouTube channel and say hi. If you listen to this on a podcast platform, go check out the Inspired Entrepreneur YouTube channel, because that's where I upload these podcasts every morning. And so you get to decide whether you like the podcast, listening to this as a podcast on wherever you listen from, or on your YouTube. Now, I'm a YouTube freak. Like, I'm on YouTube constantly. So it is the website that I like. The two major websites I'm on is YouTube and Amazon. That's literally where I live, basically. So, but stop over and say hi. Let me know, something about yourself. And I love having a little bit of discussions over there. So you can subscribe, you can like the video, you can comment on each one. So you can carry along with the conversation with the podcast, with the episode, if you'd like. If you ever thought about, gosh, I want to give feedback. That's the one thing about podcasts, is that there's nowhere to put comments, which is really, I don't know how they're doing that. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing is reviews, or is that what they are? Which I've never asked for, which I never think about these things. It's really funny. So if you enjoy this podcast, I would really love it if you gave me a 5-star review. Gosh, that was kind of corny, huh? 5 stars. Well, that would be really cool. Otherwise, don't, because that would suck. But anyway, I guess that's the one way, because I've heard people say that, where it's like, well, if you really like my podcast, give me a review and leave a a little note. And I'm like, well, if you can leave me a review, that'd be awesome. But you can come over to YouTube and like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. And you can leave a comment on every single video. That'd be really cool, actually. But so then I can get a little bit of like knowing that somebody is listening. But okay. So let's jump into today's message from the book, The Inspired Entrepreneur. Today is February 15th. If you need to grab your copy of this book, go to Amazon. The link is in the description. I think it's $14.97, and it's 400 pages. Don't let that intimidate you, because these are very short pages. And so you can, when you feel inspired, open up the book. You can open it up randomly, or you can open it up to the current day, whenever you feel inspired. And that's the whole point of having this print book, is through inspiration, you'll get the right message for you, because Source knows what's written on every single page and knows what you need to hear. So it's all cooperating. You know what I mean? We're all cooperating. Cooperating components, something like that. And so when you feel inspired to open up the book to a certain page, or just flipping to anything, you will get the perfect message. And that's the reason why I really wanted to write it this way, or to make it this way. So I highly suggest picking it up. You can get it in a couple days on Amazon, and it's a pretty cool book. It's helped me a lot. Okay, so let's read today's. It's a little bit lengthy. Get into the vibration of what you want by only focusing on what it is you want, and why do you want it. Look at pictures, daydream about it, be happy about it, but don't ask how it's going to happen, and don't feel discouraged. Get happy and excited about its existence. See yourself there. So yesterday I brought up the car that's in my driveway. If you don't know anything about it, I highly suggest listening to yesterday's podcast because it's a whole story. But there's a beautiful, just drop dead gorgeous sports car in my driveway. It's been sitting there for I think 6 years now. And at one point I kind of officially owned it, and then I kind of gave it up. I didn't have the title or anything yet, but it was there. Like it's my friend's car, and I decided I wanted it. Through inspiration, I decided I wanted it. I always loved it. And I texted my friend, and I was just like, I want it's a Trans Am. And through a series of of a conversation, it was agreed upon that I could have it. If I fix it up, I can have it. So I don't have to pay anything for it other than to fix it up. And so time went on, and then we decided to move to California last year, and we just didn't have it yet. We didn't have a place with parking yet. And so at that point, it was just things kind of got overwhelming, and I was just like, nah. And it was kind of like, no, probably won't do anything with it. It's just kind of low on my priority list. And so ever since, it's just kind of like, at some point you're going to have to move the car because we're going to sell the house at some point, whatever. And so through meditation, a couple days ago, I was re-inspired about this car. Anyway, so we're going to jump to the point of today's message is what I said yesterday about it. Like, I don't know exactly how the car is going to get fixed because it's got a few $1,000s worth of fixing up to do, because like the tires alone are, expensive, more pricey tires. It needs a paint job now, and it needs, a few things done under the hood. So, those things add up, of course. Like tires alone are at minimum at least $1,000 for 4 tires, minimum, right? And then we're talking, new brakes, all this stuff. So whatever, doesn't matter. And it's just for a car that's going to be like a third or fourth car. After a while, it's not going to be a daily driver necessarily. It's going to be one of those like weekend type of once in a while type of cars that you drive. And so it's not a priority. So I'm just living in the daydream of it now. I'm kind of like, I almost feel like I'm testing the universe of like, okay, I'm going to completely like let go of this because it's not that important to me. And I think that's going to be key as I say that. This thing is not that important to me. Like I said, it's going to be like a third or fourth car in our lineup of cars this year. That it's not important. However, it's a really cool car. It's beautiful. It's hot. It's sexy. It's a lot of cool things. And I wanted it for a while before, and I had it, right? And it can still be mine because I know my friend that, it's better to give it to me than to give it to a stranger or a salvage yard or who knows who, right? So I know that if I, if I had the money to use it on the car right now, it would be a no-brainer. I'd get the title, I'd get the keys, it would be mine. So I know that that's not an issue at all. I'm confident in that the car is mine. So I'm allowing the universe to do its thing right now. I'm just like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's not that big of a deal. But, like it'd be kind of cool. So my only job is to feel good about it. Feel good about that car. Feel good about, seeing it drive down the street. I do occasionally see them on the road. We have a couple that live here in my town, and not black though. I haven't, not just like that one. But when I see it, I'm like, oh, wow, there it is. And when I see this one, I see it every day when I go in and out of the driveway. So it's just my job to feel good about it and not worry, not like try to figure it out because it's not important, right? And, Abraham Hicks tells us stuff like it's not a lot of times the things that are not important to us manifest very quickly. So I'm super open to the idea. I'm not opposed to it like I was for a while. I'm not opposed. I'm open to it now. It's like, yeah, it'd be cool. Why not? If, allowing the universe to make that happen, I'm open to that. So get into the vibration of what you want by only focusing on what it is you want and why do you want it. For me, okay, the car. I want it to be drivable. I want it to be back in pristine condition like it was. It was garaged for many years and taken care of immaculately for many years. And then it got stored out in the desert. It used to be covered for a couple of years. And then the car cover got eaten away by the sun, so that's no longer. So it's only been sitting in the sun for the last few years, and it finally got eaten by the sun. It still looks really good though. It's just the hood that got eaten, but it's a gorgeous car. And so picturing myself driving it, remembering when I used to be in the car, because it was my friend's daily driver. It's like my ex's car, so it was my ex's daily driver for a few years, daily driver, which is that car is a little difficult to be a daily driver. It's kind of wide, it's clunky, it takes a lot of gas. It's a lot of things. It's high maintenance. But for, a once in a while car, oh, it's really cool. It's really cool to go out to dinner kind of car, go on a little bit of a road trip on the open road kind of car. It would be kind of cool to drive it to California, not necessarily through LA, but it would be really cool to drive it on a lot of those roads. If we could bypass LA, that'd be awesome. But and drive along the coast, that would be a lot of fun. It's got T-tops, that sort of thing. Like daydream it, all the good things about it, and just leave out all the rest. Leave out all the problems with it, and leave out the money that it'll take for it. Leave out all those other details, and just keep focusing on what it is that you want and why you want it. And daydream about what it's going to feel like to have it. Like, I have it. And I felt that way for a long time, that I have this car. It's here. It's been here for 6 years. Yeah. And so it's just here waiting for its owner to be like, okay, let's do something. So at this point, I'm just gonna I'm only going to follow inspiration. So if I run into somebody who is a mechanic of that car, perfect. It's very easy to run into people. It's really easy to, I did that this morning with a realtor. It's very easy to just, find somebody, to run into them, to start talking to someone say, oh, I know someone. Because it was like a year ago. Oh, no, it was after a year ago. It was when we were in California last year. I came back here to Arizona about once a month to check on the house because the house was for sale. So I came back for about, a few days. And I was driving down the street in my little town, and I looked over real quick, and I saw the exact same car. It was blue, like a nice deep blue, really pretty color, almost like a navy-ish. I don't know what color, but it's not. It was beautiful, and so I saw it parked in front of an auto parts store. And so I drove past. I'm like, oh, wow. And then I had this thought. I'm like, I think I should go back. I think I should turn around and go back and talk to whoever owns that car. because this is a time where, I'm trying to sell the house. We've already moved. This car needs to go. Like, it needs to go. And I had zero plan. I felt like I didn't own it anymore. It's not my car. So I'm like, I wonder if this person would want to buy it. That was my thought. So I turned around and I went back to the auto store, and I went into the store and I asked the guy behind the counter if he knew who owned that car or whatever. Or no, I saw him. Actually, I saw the guy get out of the car and go into the store. So I knew what he looked like. He looked like an ex-boyfriend of mine, actually. But so I saw him, and he worked there. And so I was like, hey, I just saw you get out of your car. And he's like, yeah. And so we were talking for a few minutes. And he said, I said, well, I have the exact same car in my driveway, but it's black. And exact like it. We're talking about it and stuff. And it's my friend's car. And yeah, we need to get rid of it. I need to do something with it. And he was interested in it. And the thing was, this is what I thought was really cool, is that he said his daughter, he said it would be for his daughter. His daughter's like 14. And she wants the same exact car when she turns 16. And I'm like, holy crap. A 16-year-old with a V8 sports car is probably not the greatest choice, but okay. And that's what she wants. And I thought, well, of course, law of attraction, it was just so perfect, right? So I gave him my address, and I'm like, I'm only in town for like 2 days. I don't live here anymore. I live in California. And so he was supposed to meet me at the house when he got off work that day. And here's the thing, he never showed up. It was like almost like I got stood up on a date. I felt it was terrible. I was like, oh God, not that experience again. But it was like, what? I was kind of really bummed because the guy only worked here at that store once a week, and that was the day. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I didn't have his information. I had nothing. He had my information, or he just had my address, and maybe he couldn't find it, and he didn't have, I think he had my phone number though, but whatever. He never showed up. So I was like, well, that's weird, because the whole story sounded so perfect. You know what I mean? Like, his daughter wants the car. It would be for her. He could fix it up because he works at a, auto parts store. I was just like, the whole story seemed so perfect. And then it didn't come through. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Okay, whatever. And that was the end of that. And a couple of weeks ago, there was a note on the car saying, I want to buy your car. And I've had that happen with like little beater cars we've had in the past. But of course, I did not call it because I'm like, I'm super picky about this car. And when it was semi for sale before, I was really picky about who was going to buy it, because I've gotten a little attached to the car just because I know how hard my friend worked for it. And I know how much, love was put into that car. So it's kind of like it needs to go to a special person. So, because it's a special car. Anyhow, so here we are. The car's still here, and I have the inspiration to allow the universe to surprise and delight me and get this thing fixed, and maybe drive it, maybe have it, maybe keep it. I'm open to the idea. Not necessarily attached fully to the idea, but I'm open to it. And it's not that important to me in the big scheme of my life, but it would be kind of fun. And I think that's going to be a key, is that this is fun. I don't have this big attachment to it. It's not life or death. It's not even my car necessarily. It's, so I think taking the importance out of it and just focusing on the fun aspect of it. Like, why do I want the car? Because it's fun. Like, literally, that's the only reason. It's really fun, and it's really beautiful, and it is a showstopper. It's a beast of a car. It is beastie looking, but sexy as hell, and it's fun. And that's literally the only reason why I would want it. Like, there is no other reason, because I don't need it. It's too small for any other purpose other than to have fun with it. So there you go, right? Perfect situation. And I'll let you know. So anyway, going back to today's message, look at pictures, daydream about it, be happy about it, but don't ask how it's going to happen, and don't feel discouraged. on the way. Let it go. Like if you feel discouraged, you got to let it go. When you're in a good mood, think about it. When you're in a bad mood, don't think about it. That's basically the rules of manifestation. Good mood, think about it. Bad mood, go take a nap. Go do something else completely unimportant in your life, because like the last thing you want to do is focus on your business when you're in a bad mood, because you're going to do some damage with your thoughts. You're going to create some momentum going in the wrong direction. So the best thing you can do when you're in a bad mood is do anything in your realm of life, or anything to get yourself in a better mood, or go back to bed. Like literally go back to bed, or lay on the couch and do nothing, or just do something else other than anything that's important. And that includes thinking. That's most importantly, don't think about anything that's important in your life when you're in a bad mood, because you're going to screw it up. So anyway, guys, get happy and excited about its existence and see yourself there. Just be happy. Be happy on the journey. Be happy on the journey. That's all. That's all that matters, right? Okay, I'm going to let you go. Stay tuned for tomorrow, because I'm going to record tomorrow's podcast on so this whole thing Monday. I know today is Monday for you, but I'm going to record. So today is Friday for me. Tomorrow's Saturday, and then Sunday. So I'll be back. Tomorrow's podcast will be recorded on Monday, and I'll give you a little bit of an update, if anything at all really happened over the weekend with taking my husband out to dinner and Valentine's Day and all this good stuff. So who knows? Maybe, who knows? I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.